Good evening, Eagles fans, and welcome to your go-to source for everything Philadelphia football. Can you believe it? Just when we thought the Eagles were soaring high, Week 5 brought a reality check that's got the city of brotherly love buzzing. The question on everyone's mind: what's going wrong with our beloved birds? After a tough loss to the Denver Broncos, Jalen Hurts dropped a cryptic comment that's got us all talking. So grab your green gear, crank up Fly Eagles Fly, and let's dive into what went down, what it means, and where Philly goes from here. Let's start with the main event. The Eagles, coming off a red-hot winning streak, hit a speed bump in Denver, falling to the Broncos in a game that exposed some cracks in the team's armor. Star quarterback Jalen Hurts, never one to sugarcoat things, didn't hold back after the game. He compared the Eagles' offense to a kitchen with all the right ingredients but a new chef stirring the pot. Somebody can make the same dish, and it tastes different, Hurts said, hinting at some disconnect in the offensive scheme. And while he didn't name names, all eyes are on new offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo, who took over this offseason after Kellen Moore left for the head coaching job in New Orleans. Ouch, Jalen, that's a spicy take. Now, let's break down the game itself. The Eagles were leading in the second half, but things unraveled fast. Patullo called for 23 passes, which raised eyebrows because, when you've got the lead, you typically lean on the run game to chew up the clock. But here's the kicker. Saquon Barkley, the superstar running back who racked up a jaw-dropping 2,005 yards last season, was barely used. 6 carries, 30 yards. That's it. Meanwhile, Hurts threw 23 of 38 for 280 yards and 2 touchdowns but got sacked 6 times. 6. He also managed just 3 rushing yards on 2 attempts. The offensive line, usually a fortress, looked shaky, and the play calling? Let's just say it didn't scream Philly toughness. Then there's the passing game. A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith combined for 13 receptions, more than half the team's catches, but even they couldn't mask the issues. Brown's been vocal about wanting more targets, and Smith admitted there were communication gaps with Hurts. There's times where we're looking at him, and he may give a signal before or after we look, Smith said. Hurts, ever the diplomat, promised to hash it out with his receiver, but the clock's ticking. With the Eagles ranking 3rd worst in the NFL in receiving yards and total offense, averaging just 261.6 yards per game, this isn't the high-flying attack we're used to seeing at Lincoln Financial Field. For head coach Nick Sirianni, this loss wasn't just a blip, it was a wake-up call. They made more plays and coached better than us, Sirianni admitted post-game, owning the defeat. Once known for physicality and clock control, the Eagles looked predictable in crunch time. They've slipped to number 2 in the NFL power rankings, and their ground game? It's averaging under 100 yards per game, even with Hurts scrambles. Without that run threat, defenses are pinning their ears back, forcing Hurts into tough spots and exposing the offensive struggles. Now, let's zoom out for some context. The Eagles have a storied history. Think back to the 2017 Super Bowl run, when Nick Foles and a relentless defense brought Philly its first-ever Lombardi trophy. That "Fly Eagles Fly" chant echoed through the streets, and fans still talk about the Philly special like it was yesterday. But this 2025 squad? It's a different beast. Jalen Hurts, the dual-threat quarterback who took Alabama to a national title and has become the heart of this team, is under pressure. Saquon Barkley, a former Penn State star and one of the NFL's elite backs, is being underutilized. And A.J. Brown, the powerhouse receiver who can outmuscle any cornerback, needs the ball more. Add in Devonta Smith's speed and Jason Kelce's leadership, even if he's now cheering from the sidelines as a retired legend, and you've got a roster that should be dominating. So, why aren't they? Let's talk tactics. The Eagles' offense under Patullo seems to lack the balance that made them so dangerous in years past. Historically, Philly's been a run-heavy team, leaning on backs like LaShawn McCoy or Miles Sanders to set the tone. Last season, Barkley was a one-man wrecking crew, but this year, he's barely getting touches. Against Denver, the Eagles ran just 25 plays in a key stretch without handing it to Saquon once. Compare that to their 2022 season, when they averaged 149.8 rushing yards per game and marched to the Super Bowl. The numbers don't lie. This offense is a shadow of its former self. To get an expert take, we reached out to fictional analyst Mike DiNardo, a former Eagle scout turned broadcaster. This team's identity has always been about physicality, DiNardo told us. You grind out yards with the run, Open up the play action for Hurts, and let your defense, guys like Hasan Reddick and Darius Slay, do the rest. Right now, Patullo's play calling feels like it's trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. You've got Barkley, one of the best backs in the game, and you're not using him? That's malpractice. Let's not forget the fan base. Philly fans are passionate. Some might say ruthless. From booing Santa Claus back in the 60s to chanting for Andy Reid's job, they expect results. At a local sports bar, we caught up with lifelong fan Tommy "Eagle Eye" Russo. "Man, I'm bleeding green, but this ain't it," Tommy said, sipping his Yingling. "We've got Hurts, Barkley, Brown, superstars. But it feels like the coaches are overthinking it. Run the dang ball. And don't get me started on those 6 sacks. Protect Jalen, or we're toast." That's the pulse of Philly right now, frustrated but still hopeful. So, what's next? The Eagles have a chance to rebound with a softer stretch of games. They face the 1-4 New York Giants in Week 6 and 8, with the Minnesota Vikings sandwiched in between. Those NFC East clashes are always heated. Think back to the days of Donovan McNabb torching the Giants or Brian Dawkins leveling receivers at the Meadowlands. But after the bye week, the schedule gets brutal. Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions, and, of course, the Dallas Cowboys. That Cowboys game, it's personal. The rivalry dates back decades, with iconic moments like Deshaun Jackson's punt return touchdown in 2010 still burning in Dallas fans' minds. Statistically, the Eagles are still in the hunt. Their defense, led by stars like Josh Sweat and Jalen Carter, ranks in the top 10 for sacks and turnovers forced. If the offense can find its rhythm, this team could still make a Super Bowl run. But the clock's ticking, and the NFC is stacked. Teams like the San Francisco 49ers and Tampa Bay Buccaneers aren't slowing down. If Philly doesn't fix these communication issues and get Barkley involved, they risk slipping out of contention. Let's dream big for a second. Imagine a world where the Eagles get back to their roots. Barkley pounding the rock, Hurts using his legs to keep defenses honest, and A.J. Brown hauling in deep balls. Picture Lincoln Financial Field rocking, fans belting out "Sweet Caroline" in the fourth quarter, and Sirianni pumping his fist on the sideline. That's the Eagles we know and love. But to get there, Patullo needs to simplify the playbook, and Sirianni needs to hold the team accountable. Pop culture tie-in. This Eagles season feels like a blockbuster movie with a shaky second act. Think Rocky Balboa, Philly's own underdog story. The Eagles are down but not out, and like Rocky climbing those famous steps, they've got a chance to fight back. Will they channel that 2017 magic, when Nick Foles and a gritty squad shocked the world? Or will this season end like a sequel nobody asked for? Here's my prediction. The Eagles split their next 3 games, beating the Giants twice but dropping a close one to the Vikings. If they can shore up the offensive line and give Barkley 15 to 20 carries a game, they'll be 6-2 heading into the bye. From there, it's about momentum. A win against Dallas post-bye could spark a playoff push, but they'll need to avoid the mistakes we saw in Denver. Hurts and Smith will sort out their signals, and Patullo will learn to lean on his playmakers. Eagles fans, this is your team, your city. The road to the Super Bowl runs through Philly, but it's not going to be easy. So, let's rally behind our birds. Tune in this Sunday as they take on the Giants at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Head to our website for exclusive breakdowns, and follow us on X for live updates. Will Jalen Hurts and company get back on track? Will Saquon Barkley break loose? Let's find out together. Fly, Eagles, fly!